My name is Daniel Brooks. I'm 58, a semi-retired CPA who still consults 2 days a week because numbers calm me down the way fishing used to calm my father. I live in Hudson Valley, New York, in the brick colonial I rebuilt after my wife died. My only son, Nate, is grown and working in Boston. Most nights it's just me, the ticking wall clock, and the habit of double-checking locks that don't need double-checking. Last Christmas Eve, my younger brother Tyler raised a glass to make a toast at our mother's house. He wore the confidence of a man who had never had to pay the full price for his own mistakes. "To family," he said, pausing for effect, "and to my big brother, the safety net," with a smile. There was laughter. His wife Kendra squeezed his arm. Mom, at the head of the table, flinched so slightly most people would have missed it. I didn't. I had co-signed Tyler's mortgage 5 years earlier when his restaurant was one great review away from turning a corner. I'd floated them a private second lien when Kendra wanted to stage the nursery properly, and a bridge loan when the bar expansion hit a temporary construction delay. The liens were recorded. I wasn't careless, but I was lenient on terms, because we were family. "Tell them what you always tell me, Dan," Tyler went on, grin widening. "What's the line?" "I'll carry you one more quarter." I looked at him over the rim of my water glass, then at Mom's hands, folded tight in her lap. "I used to say that," I answered. Past tense. Kendra laughed a beat too loudly. "He's joking." I set my glass down with care. "I'm not." The table quieted. The kids' giggles in the adjoining room seemed suddenly far away. Tyler's smirk faltered. "What's that supposed to mean?" "It means," I said evenly, "starting January 1st, I won't be co-signing your life." He tried to play it off, rolled his eyes, reached for the wine, said something about holiday drama, but the room had already shifted. Somewhere beneath the cranberry sauce and polite smiles, a ledger turned over and the math began to change. That was the last holiday I spent pretending that love and enabling were the same thing. Part 2. The Envelope. The message came the first week of January, 2 days after New Year's, while I was fixing a hinge on Mom's pantry door. A courier envelope slid under her front storm door as if the wind had delivered it. On the outside, simple estate updates. Kendra's looping handwriting. Inside, a neat stack of papers. Consolidated family management, streamlined financial oversight, healthcare directives for convenience. The pages smelled faintly of perfume and the cheap toner of a home printer. On the third page, buried under gentle language, sat the teeth. A durable, irrevocable power of attorney naming Tyler and Kendra as co-agents for my mother, financial, property, medical. It included a clause authorizing them to reallocate assets for family benefit and execute transfer on death addenda for efficiency. There was a signature line labeled, "Witness Daniel A. Brooks." I read it twice. Then I set it down and stared at Mom's framed photo with Dad on the mantel, his hand on her shoulder, the same hand I used to watch measure flour for Sunday pancakes. Mom had good days and bad days now. She could recite every state capital, but sometimes forgot whether she'd taken her afternoon pill. She could still choose a cardigan with ruthless taste, but legalese? Not without help. I made tea. I called my mother into the kitchen and read every page out loud. I didn't summarize. I didn't soften verbs. She listened, chewing the inside of her cheek, and when I finished, she took a long breath. "I didn't ask for this," she said. "Kendra said it was just to save me stress. Do you want anyone to be able to move money without asking you?" "No," she said, sharper now. "I'm forgetful, not gone." "Then we won't sign a thing." I scanned the envelope for fingerprints that weren't there and slid the documents back in. As I sealed it, I knew 2 things with accountant's certainty. This wasn't clumsy overreach. It was a strategy, and they thought I wouldn't notice. Part 3. Assemble the quiet team. People think revenge begins with rage. Mine began with a calendar invite. I met with an elder law attorney named Patel in a modest office above a bakery that ruined diets from the sidewalk. She read the estate updates, the POA, the reallocations clause, and let out a slow, professional exhale. "We're going to do 3 things," she said, ticking them off like ledger lines. 1. Execute a limited power of attorney that names you as backup agent only for emergencies, revocable at will. 2. Set up a revocable living trust for your mother with clear successor trustees and a no-contest clause. 3. Draft a letter of wishes in your mother's words, in plain English, about her boundaries and her money. 4, I added. Audit. She smiled. "You're the CPA. Who do you trust?" "Chen," I said, and texted a forensic accountant before my better angels could stall me. We spent 2 weeks gathering. I stopped helping and started documenting. Bank statements for the last 5 years. Utility bills Mom had forgotten, later fixed by Kendra. Venmo screenshots labeled home repair, each suspiciously round. A debit to a cabinetry company 2 towns over on a day Mom never left the house. I pulled Tyler's LLC filings, old habit, New York makes them public, and saw 3 entity names leap out: a management company, a vendor shell, and a consulting outfit that billed exactly what the restaurant owed in back rent. 16 hours into the audit, Chen called. "You were right to look," she said. "It's not spectacular. It's steady. Drip, drip, drip. 1,000 here, 1,200 there. Your brother's LLC shows vendor payments that match your mom's outflows within 48 hours, just laundered through different names." "Taxable to who?" I asked. She chuckled without humor. "That's the beautiful thing about sloppiness. Eventually, it's taxable to everyone." We filed a fraud alert with Mom's banks. Not a police report, not yet. We locked her credit. We moved her liquid cash into the trust, leaving enough in checking to avoid suspicion. We added 2 signature protocols for any transfer above $500. Then I sat with Mom at her kitchen table and recorded a video on my phone. She looked into the camera and said, "I have not authorized anyone to move my money without asking me. My son Daniel helps me when I ask. I love my family. I am not a purse." She laughed at that last line, a little wicked. "Send that to whoever thinks I am." I didn't. Not yet. Part 4. Saying no, like a complete sentence. The confrontation did not happen at a table with a turkey. It happened at a Starbucks, because Tyler texted neutral ground, like this was a hostage exchange. He arrived with sunglasses on his head in January and the weary huff of the busy man he'd always imagined himself to be. Kendra came 10 minutes later, apology smile already loaded. "Mom needs structure," she began. "Mom needs respect," I answered. Tyler spread his hands. "We're trying to help. You're making everything adversarial. You left a courier envelope with an irrevocable POA and a clause that would let you sell her house without asking her. That isn't help. That's a heist." He glanced around as if the barista might object to the word. "You're overreacting." I slid a thin folder across the table. "You paid a vendor from your LLC 2 days after Mom paid home repair from her checking. The vendor is you, spelled sideways through a shell." Kendra's smile died. "We fronted costs. We were going to settle up." I took out my phone and pressed play. Mom's clear voice, hands folded, cardigan neat. "I am not a purse." When it ended, no one moved. Outside, a delivery truck idled. Someone laughed too loud at a table behind us. "This ends now," I said. "Here's what's going to happen. You will not present any legal documents to our mother without Attorney Patel present. You will not move $1 from any account with her name on it. You will not visit any bank with her unless I am there. If you violate any of that, I will file a police report for elder financial abuse and a complaint with the state AG's office. If you think I won't, try me." Tyler's jaw flexed. "You think you can threaten me?" "No," I said. "I can promise you." Kendra leaned forward, voice low. "If you cut us off, the restaurant will fold. We'll lose the house. You should have considered that before treating my mother like an ATM and me like a perpetual guarantor. I thought you loved us," she said. I stood, slid a second envelope across the table. "I do." That's why I recorded the liens and kept the notes. This one accelerates your private second. You've been in default for 91 days. You have 30 to refinance without me, or the property goes on the market. Tyler knocked his knee into the table. The coffees trembled. You wouldn't. I met his eyes, and for the first time in 20 years, didn't blink. I would, and I am. Part 5. The Long Month. Mean revenge is quick. Effective revenge is calendared. Day 1. Certified notices sent. Attorney Patel filed the trust and recorded a notice of interest on Mom's house. 2 signature banking protocols confirmed. Mom, relieved, baked a lemon loaf and wrapped a slice for the bank manager. Day 4. Chen compiled a neat, lethal packet. Timelines, transfers, shell LLCs, cross-referenced vendor payments, and a memo about potential tax exposure. We didn't send it anywhere. We simply had it. Day 7. A family friend texted me a screenshot of Kendra's Facebook post about controlling sons isolating elders. I replied with a photo of Mom at her bridge club, grinning behind a winning hand. No caption. Day 12. Tyler called, voice hoarse. We found a lender, he said. They'll refinance if you sign a comfort letter. No, I said. You can meet the terms like any borrower. Dan, please. Pick a closing date or pick a realtor. Day 16. They picked a date. The lender reviewed Tyler's numbers, then asked about the management company. The loan officer called me. The recorded lien made me unavoidable. Is the subordinate note current? She asked. No, I said, and emailed the ledger. The refi died on underwriting review. It wasn't my call. It was the math. Day 19. Kendra came to my mother's door with flowers and a notarized small spending authorization disguised as a Valentine's card. She left without ringing the bell, perhaps hoping habit would do the rest. Mom called me. We made tea. We laughed. We put the paper in a folder labeled Exhibits. Day 23. I filed to appoint myself temporary guardian for finances, only pending an evaluation. Not because Mom was incapable, but because it erected a legal fence just high enough that convenience couldn't jump it. Day 28. I hired a realtor, not the one who stages nurseries, the one who sells problems to people who like solutions. She walked the restaurant building and my brother's house with the cheerful calm of a surgeon measuring for stitches. We'll get you market, she said, or we'll get you out. Part 6. Court, closings, consequences. The hearing was brief. The judge read Patel's filings, the trust, the letter of wishes in Mom's own language, and Chen's audit summary. He looked at Tyler and Kendra, then at my mother, who sat straighter than she had all winter. Mrs. Brooks, he said gently, do you want your son Daniel to help you pay bills when you ask him? Yes, Mom said, when I ask. Do you want anyone else to be able to move money without your say-so? No, she said. I want to be asked. He turned to Tyler. This court finds that Mrs. Brooks is capable of directing her own affairs and has established proper safeguards. Any attempted transfers without the trust's consent will be considered in bad faith. Don't test me afterward. In the hallway, Tyler started toward me, then stopped. Kendra stared at the floor tiles like they might turn into a trap door. I walked my mother to the elevator. She squeezed my hand. I liked that judge, she said. He talked like a person. 3 weeks later, the restaurant building went under contract. The buyer wanted the kitchen fixtures and none of the headaches. The sale satisfied the first mortgage and my recorded second. There wasn't much left for Tyler. I didn't gloat. I signed the release and drove to Mom's to fix a cabinet door that actually needed fixing. Their house was trickier. The accelerated note, the missed payments, the dead refinance. Every path pointed to the same destination. We listed. The market was kind, the inspection was not. I paid for nothing. At closing, Tyler's hands shook so hard the attorney had to guide his signature. We'll rent, he muttered. That's a plan, I said, and meant it. Renting is honest. Debt without entitlement is a teacher that never tires. Chen filed an amended return for my mother, recapturing money mislabeled as gifts that had, in fact, been siphoned. We didn't report Tyler to the IRS. We did not need to. The auditor we retained wrote a letter reminding him that pass-through entities still pass through liability. It arrived certified, requiring a signature. I imagine the pen was heavy. We didn't file criminal charges. Mom asked me not to, and I listened. The relief in her shoulders when she sat in her own kitchen and paid her own electric bill was justice enough. Part 7. The small, decent ending. Spring came late. The river finally let go of its rim of ice. I rebuilt Mom's back steps and stained them while she critiqued my brushwork from a lawn chair. When we finished, she said, "Tea?" and went inside to put the kettle on. She didn't ask me for money. She didn't need to. Tyler sent a text in May. "We're sorry. We were scared. I messed up. If you ever want to talk." I read it twice, then typed, "I'm here when you're ready to talk like adults, with receipts, without demands." He didn't reply. That was okay. Some reconciliations require more than one season. Kendra posted less after the house sold. The controlling son captions dried up. She took a job at a staging company that, ironically, pays on actual invoices and not on hope. I wrote a new letter to my own son, Nate, and put it with my will. It wasn't about money. It was about math and mercy. If you ever have to choose between keeping the peace and keeping your self-respect, pick the latter. The peace wasn't peace. On Father's Day, Nate drove down and grilled salmon on the deck, while Mom told him stories he'd heard a dozen times and still laughed at like they were new. When the sun slid behind the trees, Mom stood, hugged me, and said, "Thank you for seeing me when they wanted to manage me." "Thank you for letting me help when you asked," I said. That night, I sat alone in my quiet house and looked at a ledger I'd kept in my head for years. Debts owed, favors extended, balances forgiven. For the first time in a long time, the columns matched. Not because everyone got what they deserved, but because I finally stopped paying with pieces of myself. People ask what justice feels like when it arrives without handcuffs. It feels like this. Your phone doesn't buzz at midnight with one more favor. Your mother's signature is used only by your mother. Your brother learns that deadlines are real, and you go to sleep knowing that love is not the same thing as limitless credit. If you've ever been the family safety net with a smile, listen carefully. Silence is not grace if it teaches people how to use you. Boundaries are not cruelty. They are the last honest gift you can give to a family that thinks your wallet is their birthright. I used to tell Tyler, "I'll carry you one more quarter." Now, when the old habit tugs at me, I think of Mom saying, "I'm not a purse, and I answer a different way. I'll walk next to you if you walk on your own." And for the first time in years, I sleep all the way through the night.